This is a fun one. This is good. I like this. I like this video. I've been looking forward to this one. And this is one of those cases where this information has been out for a while, but it just takes somebody like kind of discovering it, kind of rediscovering it, and you make a tweet and it kind of makes the rounds again. If this ever like really made the rounds at any point, I did not notice it, so we're all kind of talking about it again, and I'm certainly up for talking about it today. Norman Caruso, the gaming historian, he does these really, really incredible, like, YouTube documentaries on, like, gaming history and stuff, like, some of the absolute best stuff you will find on YouTube about video games. And something that makes his content so good is that he does, like, actual digging. He will go to libraries, he will access records, and he will scan these things, and so he will unearth information that, up to this point, other amateur YouTubers, such as myself, we've just never been privy to any of this information. And a few years ago, he dug up documents from a court case between Nintendo and Universal back in the, the NES era. Universal, who owns King Kong, alleged that Nintendo, their character Donkey Kong, was kind of a ripoff. And before we get into the real entertaining content of this video, I do think it's very interesting that the judge ruled in favor of Nintendo on this one. I really don't get it, because there are a lot of elements that are clearly lifted directly, not the least of which is the name Kong. That's not just like a regular word. I mean, you have like the word Congo, I suppose. Hey folks, Future Arlo here with a quick note. According to this lawsuit, Nintendo claims that the word Kong, or Kongu, is a slang word for large gorilla in Japan. However, I'm having a really hard time getting any real info on this. Official translations insist on obvious words like gorilla, and I have zero reason to believe that the word did not come originally from King Kong itself. I'm finding nothing about this word that is not related to either King Kong or Donkey Kong. Also, as I'm about to explain, the similarities between both apes do not stop at the name. Back to you, Past Arlo. But as far as I know, the name Kong, K-O-N-G, that is a fictitious name given to this character. And so Nintendo decided to create their own character, which was a large ape with the name Kong that kidnaps a woman and climbs a tower. It is so, I mean, like, come on. They named him Kong. It's so clearly, it is a ripoff. I mean, I know it's fairly different, but like, it's just, I don't know, it's just funny. But apparently the judge ruled the farcical, childlike, and non-sexual Donkey Kong creates a humorous impression by jumping up and down and strutting back and forth to tease Mario. The Donkey Kong gorilla is thus quite different from King Kong, a ferocious gorilla in quest of a beautiful woman who goes on rampages, chases people, crushes them underfoot, or throws them to the ground, and fights with dinosaurs, giant snakes, airplanes, and helicopters, all culminating in his tragic and bloody death. I mean, sure. Yeah, like, they're different. They've taken the idea and made it, like, kind of fun and family-friendly, but it's still the same thing. It's still the same thing, so I don't know. I just think that's funny. Also, Norman somehow gained access to a doodle that Miyamoto drew during these meetings about Donkey Kong, and really just looks like a bear. This is, at some point, this is what DK looked like in Miyamoto's mind. I don't really get, that's a bear. I don't know. So let's get to the real thing we all came here for, though. The real interesting part of this. Apparently in these documents, Norman found a list of names that Nintendo considered for DK. They took him a good while to come up with that name, Donkey Kong. And it's funny that they had so many ideas and they ended up landing on Donkey Kong. It's one of those names where, like, you get so used to it, it just kind of like, yeah, of course, it's Donkey Kong. But, like, you really think about it, it's like they took King Kong and just put the word donkey. He's not a donkey. He's an ape. And I remember Miyamoto being like, oh, yeah, but he's kind of like, he's bullheaded. He's kind of stupid like a donkey, I guess. But just putting the word it's a very strange name. Like, after all of this time, it's normalized, but like, it is a weird name. And it's really funny to see that it came after much consideration, and right now we have the list of names that Nintendo considered, and this list is incredibly entertaining. So we are going to read it. We are going to review this list of names because it's really funny. Speaking of funny, first we have Funny Kong. I like that. I think just putting the word funny on something as a descriptor, I think that in itself is funny. It's very childlike. Me and Kane, actually, we do that joke a fair amount. Just like, haha, Funny Kong. Next we have Kong the Kong. It's not the most creative, but I don't know. I guess it would have gotten the job done okay. We have Jack Kong. That's a good one. Some of these make him sound like an action movie star or like a lawyer or something. Jack Kong, Private Eye. I also like any of the names that just kind of make him sound like a dude. Just kind of sound like, like a guy. Like they wanted him to be kind of animalistic and donkey-like. So yeah, the idea that DK might have been called Jack Kong is very, very funny. Then we have Funky Kong, which, okay, cool. They ended up, obviously, using that for Funky Kong later. Bill Kong. See, that's good. It's kind of like Jack Kong, but it's a little bit more normal. Bill is one of those, like, absolutely top-tier normal names. So again, the idea of DK being called Bill Kong, it's like, oh, it's Link, it's Kirby, it's Mario, it's Bill. BK. Bill Kong. It's so lame. I love it. Then we have Steel Kong. Yeah, that's another one. That's another, like, action movie. Steel Kong in Banana Ultimatum. Never mind. We're not gonna do fake movie names. I'm not funny enough for that. We have Giant Kong. That's pretty good. It really does highlight just the name Kong being the most important thing. So you just put a descriptor in front of it. It just all over again just seems like a real ripoff of King Kong. Instead of King Kong, it's Giant Kong. Yeah. How about Best Kong? Oh yeah, and then next it's Big Kong. just there's King Kong, and then there's Big Kong. He's not quite as impressive, but still pretty good. I mean, he's pretty big. Kong Down. See, now that is the name of a movie. This is a movie starring Steel Kong, but it's one of the sequels, and it's called Kong Down. Why would they have called it Kong Down? The Kong is down. Inform the president. Okay. Kong Dong, like a bell. Like a bell, everybody. Kong Dong. Dong like a bell. Because, he's up at the top of the tower like a bell. He sort of looks like a bell. That's the thing. Next, Mr. Kong. Love that one. Love Mr. Kong. Love the idea of MK. Just Mr. Kong. Want to put him in a little hat. Big, goofy, scary ape. He's all mad. He's pounding the ground. He's just Mr. Kong. Custom Kong. I really want to know their thinking behind that one. Because I'm not really seeing it. Custom Kong. Okay. Yeah, okay. Kong Chase. Should have been Chase Kong. That would have been another good action movie one. But just Kong Chase. I can see it because Mario, chases him. There was that one old, there's like the Super Mario Brothers cartoon, but then there were like the other, was it the Captain N one? I don't remember, but there's like one old version of a Mario and DK cartoon where the whole thing was Mario chases DK and DK loves being chased. Oh, I love being chased. That's my thing. So Kong Chase, that would have been pretty good. Kong Boy, definitely makes him seem a little bit younger. Alternatively, Kong Man. I guess they just had to decide how old they wanted DK to be. Kong Boy and Kong Man. Kong Fighter. It's another good one. Descriptive. He's a Kong and he fights. Okay. Wild Kong. See, that's pretty good. That's all right, like again, like Donkey Kong. I think Wild Kong might have been a better fit. Rookie Kong. Okay. I guess because it's like a boxing thing, maybe. I mean, DK doesn't seem like a rookie to me. He's a pro. He's a pro at being a gorilla. And finally, Kong Holiday, which is another one. Kong Holiday. Yeah, that's another one. I don't know what they were thinking with that one. It's a classy name. I like it. It makes me think of some of the characters from. A lot of people already know what I'm going to say. It's the Great Muppet Caper. Makes me think of Lady Holiday and the baseball diamond, Kong Holiday. So a lot of interesting options. I'm trying really hard to decide which one I would have gone with. Because like I said, I do think the name Donkey Kong is weird. I wouldn't have chosen it. And I kind of feel like a lot of this comes down to like the language barrier thing. You know, like they don't really know exactly how the name is going to translate to an English-speaking audience, maybe. Out of all of these names, I don't think I'm 100% happy with any of them, and I think, again, that just comes down to me feeling like using the word Kong is just kind of wrong. I think Big Kong is pretty good. It's still just like, it's still such a ripoff of King Kong, like a lamer ripoff of King Kong, but I don't know, it's kind of fitting, just Big Kong. That's pretty good. Wild Kong is pretty good too. I like the word wild, but it's a bit of a mouthful, you know, just wild. It doesn't like roll off the tongue quite as well. Yeah, I don't know. If I absolutely had to pick one of these to really, truly, honestly be DK's name instead, like go back in time and make them pick a different one, it is hard. Something about Big Kong. I think it's just, it's fairly straightforward and it's easy and fun to say. I think I might have to go with Big Kong. If we have to pick my favorite, though, I know which one is probably the favorite of basically everyone else. But mine, it's Kong Holiday. It's just too funny. I don't know. I don't know where they were coming from with it. And it's just so classy. Just makes him seem like such a genteel fellow. So classy. And then apart from that, probably like between Bill Kong and Mr. Kong. I really like those two. Those are very funny. Really just comes down to like what I think would be the funniest if it had happened. And I can't stop seeing Bill Kong in my head. I can't stop doing the DK rap with Bill Kong. It's too good. And then you gotta think, what would the other characters have been named? You introduce Diddy, what's he just gonna be like? Charles Kong? Dixie is like Regina Kong. They all just have like really super normal names. Cranky Kong's Bartholomew Kong, Kitty Kong, I don't know. Francis Kong. We could do this all day. I should probably stop.